Are you ready to hoist the colors? Now, time for the most in-depth look at the world of ECU athletics. Welcome in to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Now, here's your host, Stephen Igo.
Happy NFL Draft Day on this Thursday, April 24th. The first round will be tonight. A lot of eyes on Shavon Revel to see if the East Carolina product will go in the first round. Could he be the third ever first rounder out of East Carolina? Could he be the highest ever draft pick out of East Carolina? It's all on the table because I don't think a lot of people really know what's going to happen outside of the first handful of picks or so. We'll dive into the draft as a whole, top storylines, Shavon Revel's pick. We'll try and guess the exact spot he goes in the draft. We'll also touch on other Pirate draft and free agent hopefuls. We'll discuss top storylines. We may be getting to some other ECU news as well. I was just watching the ECU Board of Trustees meeting over on campus. John Gilbert, athletic director, still speaking as I took the air. He's been speaking for about an hour on revenue share, all that, so we may bring that up as well. But first, let's introduce today's cast. We've got Brady Thomas, Hoist the Colors intern, in studio. Brady not only appearing on today's show, but will be getting his graduation photos done this afternoon.
Yep, excited to do both. We're gonna guess me and I go be hanging out for about the next 3 hours here.
I hope it doesn't take that long to take some photos, but hey, you know how it is. It may take 2 hours just to find parking. That's what I'm most concerned about on campus. So if you see me and Brady walking around, we're taking some graduation photos. Philip Pilkington behind the glass. What's going on, Philip?
What's going on? What is going on is this draft day, baby. Let's go!
Finally, some emotion from you for the draft. You've just been kind of low-key, man. Now you're all Panthers hat. It's here. You ready?
Yeah, man. You know how it is when you're a fan of all sports. Like, you got to enjoy the playoffs, the MLB, and the NBA, and the NHL. And, sports go in waves. And I think my excitement started ramping up about mid-afternoon yesterday. I like the draft. I've been doing some research, but at the end of the day, when there's so much going on, you can only focus on so many things at one time. But I'm excited. Here we go.
Here we go. The draft tonight. And I'm with you, man. The Denver Broncos, my favorite team, they don't pick till 20th overall. So, I'm not. Honestly, the 20th pick is just not very exciting. First off, the last time Denver had this pick, they picked Noah Fant, who was awful. I'm very much against first-round tight ends and first-round running backs, which we'll get more into our teams later. But at the same time, that's who Denver's projected to pick. At least you guys have some higher picks. Panthers have a top 10 pick. Where are the Cowboys at?
12.
So you guys are, in prime territory for an impact player. So I think you'd be more excited.
I would rather have been in the damn playoffs last year than be sitting here happy on draft day, trying to make it like we have a good thing going on, and he doesn't. Come on.
That's the beauty of the draft, though. Or the NFL. It's probably the most balanced of any league, unless you just have terrible ownership like the Panthers or Cowboys. At least you have a shot. As a result of your poor year last year, you now get a higher pick. This is how sports should be, not the rich get richer. So I'm happy for you guys to potentially get an impact player. We know the Cowboys and Panthers can screw it up, though, Brady.
Yeah. The Cowboys actually, for a pretty poor front office, actually do a pretty good job drafting. Credit to Will McClay, who's our front office guy. But, yeah, I'm excited. I think we are going skill player as well. And if we go O-lineman, we need a little bit of O-line help, but I'll be disappointed like every other fan. But it's
the most boring pick, but it's usually the most safe pick.
I want a big-time player, so that's what I'm hoping for.
So the big storyline locally, guys, Shavon Revel. Look, we've had him on the show quite a bit. I think his character speaks for itself. Loyalty. Didn't chase the money when he easily could have. And so I think we're all hoping the best for Shavon. And it really just comes down to, we've had this discussion a lot, but it really comes down to what teams value. The corner position in this draft is kind of all over the map. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts breaking it down just to try to get a gauge. And this draft as a whole, once you get past the top few picks, I don't think people really know exactly what direction it's going to go in. But you've got Travis Hunter from Colorado, who could be a receiver, could be a corner, could be both. After that, it's kind of up in the air. Michigan's Will Johnson is kind of seen as the next guy, but he's got injury concerns. You have Texas's Jahdae Barron. He's seen as a guy who is maybe more of a nickel than an outside corner, yet I've seen him being picked like top 15. Are teams really going to take a nickel top 15? You got Trey Amos and Kentucky's Maxwell Harrison. All these guys are smaller, faster, whereas Shavon is bigger. He's got elite size as far as his arm length, 87th percentile, 33-inch arms, guys, 80-inch wingspan. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to project Revel. We're going to make our pick here in a minute, but I wouldn't be shocked if he goes as the second corner off the board if somebody needs a long corner, and it wouldn't shock me if he falls middle of round 2 due to injury history. So I'm kind of wrestling it with myself. I don't know, Brady, how you feeling? Any gut feeling at this point?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at some mock drafts and stuff, if Revel was fully healthy, I think he's the second quarterback or cornerback off the board, including Travis Hunter. I think that's kind of where the mocks had him before the college football season. But the Bills do need a cornerback, and they're picking at 30, I believe.
Yes.
But I just don't know if Revel is going to go first round. I think he goes early to mid-second is kind of my guess. If he would fall to Dallas, that would be amazing. But I just don't think he's on the board that long in the second round. But somewhere early to middle for a second-round pick.
What are you thinking, Phillip? And we've had this discussion a lot. And I was texting with a former ECU coach last night who heard there's buzz he may even go in the top 15. Now, how real is that? I don't know. I tend to lean more towards Brady, but I just think he's a player that, to me, NFL scouts would highly covet, although the medical deal is a concern.
It is. The other thing that's concerned is the sports gods hate ECU. And this is the reason we've only had 2 first-round picks.
This is true.
It's like the ECU fan in me is like, man, he's going like 40 to the Saints. He would fit good there. I think, with them losing Lattimore in the offseason, that'd be an ideal fit. But, like, man, he's so well put together. I was talking to somebody the other day, and it was like, man, he doesn't have that many highlights. It's like, exactly. They don't throw the ball his way. It was hard for me to find highlights to send to Julia for the NFL radio thing. Like, it's just they didn't throw the ball his way. And a lot of these, like you said, is due to that length. He can play that field position. There's a lot of boundary corners out there, but he definitely probably is the best field corner in this draft. So it all comes down to team needs, what they want. I've toyed back and forth with this for so long, but I can tell you when we do our official thing, little teaser here, I'll take the pessimistic route so I can be happy when good things happen.
All right. I like that. So here is the latest mock drafts, and I went through a lot of just first-round mocks this morning. This is up on hoistthecolors.net. You can check it out in written form. But a couple mock drafts, 24/7 Sports, Brad Crawford has him going 30th overall to the Buffalo Bills. As Brady said, they need a corner. Now, I was reading they are more of a zone coverage team. And, not that Shavon can't play zone because ECU played a lot of it, but he would profile more as a press man guy, which personally is why, we know the Baltimore Ravens love to play physical man coverage. I think he would be a good fit there. The Pro Football Focus 7-round mock, they've got a ton of mock drafts. The 7-round mock has them going 29th overall to the Washington Commanders. And PFF wrote, quote, despite the Commanders making the NFC Championship game, the team's 44.9 PFF coverage grade ranked 3rd lowest in the NFL. There's an added risk to drafting Shavon Revel after his torn ACL, but in his last full season at East Carolina, he forced an incompletion on 24% of his coverage snaps, the 14th best clip in the nation. So that would make Bobby Harvard very happy. Other mocks, 43rd overall in the second round to the 49ers, 36th overall via CBS Sports to the Jacksonville Jaguars, early second round. NFL.com 7-round mock has him going 53rd to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who he visited and met with at the Combine. And then DraftWire has him going 57th overall to the Carolina Panthers, which would make Phillip very happy. So if we had to pinpoint a spot, Brady, I don't know if you have the full draft order up. Do you want me to put it your way?
I got a first round.
Okay.
You just want me to look that way?
Either way, if you had to pinpoint a spot, And you said you lean second round, most likely?
Yeah.
This is your second round draft order. Where would you have Shavon Revel landing as we prognosticate today?
Am I going with a specific team?
Yeah, specific team. Give me a thing. And you can go trade up if you want to, if you think somebody's going to love him.
Ooh. I'm going to go 43 to the Niners.
43 to the Niners.
Yeah.
That
I'm going to go a little
yeah.
later than I had, just because I do think the Niners need a corner.
Looks like a good fit.
I believe Shavarius Ward, I don't know how to say his name, is not on the team anymore. So
Yeah.
I think they are looking for a corner. So,
And honestly, I mean, if you're going to go early second round, that's probably best case scenario as far as good team. And I know they are resetting, but it's a good situation, I would say.
yeah,
Niners
for sure. It's not like he'll be
going
trying
to
to compete for something there. I think he'll have a legit spot and be able to play.
like the Jaguars are a popular pick, but like if I'm a fan of Shavon, which I am, I don't want him going to Jacksonville just because it's the Jaguars.
And dating back to that Panthers pick, I do not think if he stays on the board till 57, I will be very surprised.
Philip Pilkington, where do you think Shavon level lands?
With the 40th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints take Shavon Revel, cornerback, East Carolina University.
I like that a lot, although you probably wouldn't like it being in
No, I
your
would not.
division. Picking off Bryce Young.
That he would do. After Cam Jordan made Bryce Young throw off his back foot and heave a moonball.
And
Shavon's going to be waiting on it, baby.
yeah, the only reason I did not pick that, I have the Saints trading that pick up to the first round. So,
Ooh, they trading up to get a quarterback at the end of the first round?
yep, the
Okay.
Ole Miss quarterback.
So
Jackson Dart.
you're thinking they don't, because some people have them taking Dart at like 9. I think that's crazy.
I think that's a complete smokescreen to get somebody to try and panic or something.
All right, look, I was going to go Niners 43, but screw it. Shavon Revel is going to become the third first-round pick in ECU history. The Baltimore Ravens are going to take him 27th overall, and he is going to join Keaton Mitchell in Baltimore. That would be a great situation. Honestly, any of these teams, like I could see him, and again, this is a little bit of a homer pick. Like if I had to actually put money on it, I'd probably pick him to fall to the second round. Although it is plus, somebody says plus 200 to go first round, which is 26 on the list by DraftKings. Are y'all interested in that at all? Plus 200?
I don't hate it, man.
Yeah.
I would like the odds to be maybe a little higher.
touch higher.
350 would be a little more enticing, something like that.
So I want to see how quick the first corner goes, right? So let's look at best available here according to ESPN. Just what I've got pulled up. They've got the cornerback out of Michigan. Now theirs is best available. This is not projected picks because they've got like Shador Sanders at like 35. We know he'll go before that, but they've got the corner out of Michigan,
Will Johnson.
at 10. If somehow he goes really early, and then you know how it goes with these positions.
Yep.
With any position, right? Once one guy goes, everybody starts going. And the later it takes the first guy, the later it takes the sixth guy. So I think if Will Johnson goes in that like 10, 11, 12 range, I like the plus 200. But if he doesn't go until 15, 16, I don't like the money. And I think that, that Shavon is going to the second round. So with that being said, I don't know if they run live odds. I'm sure if they do, it will change drastically. I think they should run live odds because they're going to make a hell of a lot of money and put some more, wings added onto those massive hotels they have in Sin City. But that's how I feel. Maybe I'm overanalyzing the hell out of it. But what do you guys think?
Well, I think there's a bevy of teams towards the back end of the first round that need a corner. And so if you get – we know Travis Hunter is going to go probably second overall. And so if you get Will Johnson or whoever off the board, amongst those, let's say top 15, then I think that increases the odds that once you get towards the back end of the first round, the Packers need a corner at 23. The Vikings need a corner at 24. Not that they have to take a corner in the first round, but the possibility is there. The Ravens at 27. The Commanders at 29. The Bills at 30. I've even seen the Eagles mocked with a corner. So I mean, that's what, 6 teams. The over-under on first-round corners is set at 4.5. So Vegas expects at least 4 corners. I think over is plus money, but it just comes down to, again, what teams value. And if you get Will Johnson going off the board at 10, 11, 12, whatever, then that just increases the odds Revel would go in the first round. So I definitely see that for sure. Bobby Harward in the chat says Shavon fits perfect in Joe Witt's press man system in D.C. He says bring on a Marshawn Lattimore and Shavon Revel duo in the nation's capital. And he adds Dane Brugler of The Athletic has stated that Shavon is more coveted by NFL front offices than media mock drafters. So, I mean, look, I used to do mock drafts in my NFL work. I'm just going to be honest, guys. Like, you look at other mock drafts. Once you get past the first, 10 picks, nobody's out there, unless you're actually studying film, nobody's out there, putting together their own mock draft fully, especially if you're doing a multiple-round mock. So, a lot of this is Sean Payton, the Broncos head coach, calls it the NFL train. Once 2 people say it, then everybody just starts running with it. And it's the reason nobody had Bo Nix going to Denver last year. And yet Denver took him. So you just never know. Would I put money on Revel going in the first round? No. Although plus 200 intrigues me. So I'm just glad, though, that we're finally at the point, guys, where after today at 8 o'clock, the mock draft season's over, and we can just see who gets picked, Brady.
Yeah, for sure. It's like you said, it's a bunch of copy and paste. They see somebody.
People got to make content to get clicks. I get it. I've been in that business.
Especially this quarterback situation is quite interesting, considering we don't really know where Jackson Dart's going. We don't really know where Shador's going, and then that's really it for other than the first overall pick is kind of what I'm guessing. I don't see any other quarterback moving up, and I don't think there's a whole lot of teams kind of in the market for a quarterback either as much as usual. And this is a fairly weak quarterback class.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, yes, we'll see.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't even sold on Cam Ward at number 1, even though he would likely be the pick. All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll talk about other top storylines going into tonight's draft. We'll also discuss other ECU draft hopefuls. Obviously, nobody else going tonight besides maybe Shavon, but could we see anybody else's name called who will sign a free agent deal? We'll discuss that on the other side. This is Hoist the Colors.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed, meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Are you ready to tackle those yard and garden projects? Come by East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, your local Coyote dealer, and check out their great selection of residential and commercial Coyote tractors. From zero-turn mowers to compact tractors to skid steer loaders, they've got you covered. Some with 0% financing for qualified buyers. Stop by your hometown Coyote dealer, East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, across from the Pitt County Fairgrounds, or online at ectfleet.com. East Carolina Tractor and Fleet. We dig dirt.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
Back to Hoist the Colors with Steve and Igo.
Drink up me, Ozzy, yo-ho.
On 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back into Hoist the Colors on a Thursday, hanging out with Brady Thomas from Hoist the Colors and Philip Pilkington behind the glass. We're all excited for the draft. It's our NFL draft preview special. We just discussed Shavon Revel, where we think he might end up. Made those predictions in segment 1. Check out our show replay, 94.3 The Game, YouTube and Facebook pages, as well as the IBX Media app. Also download us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Check us out there if you miss any of the show. All right, we touched on Shavon. Before we get into more NFL draft storylines, guys, let's discuss other ECU draft hopefuls. And I don't know if there'll be another guy drafted from this class. I do think we'll see a lot of guys in camps or getting free agent deals. Rajay Harris comes to mind. Omar Rogers, ECU safety, has gotten a ton of buzz from what I've heard. The D-line class, Deontay Johnson, Elijah Morse, Surad Ware. We'll see what opportunities they get. A couple O-linemen, Parker Moore, Hampton Ergel, Dustin Hall. All those guys have played a lot of football. A couple tight ends as well. Anybody, Brady, you're keeping your eye on just to see, or you're most intrigued of if they get a shot somewhere?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Omar Rogers. Like you said, he seemed to get a lot of buzz. I've seen a lot of those NFL Rookie Watch pages hyping him up, and I think he had a solid season last year. And veteran safety, I think he could find himself maybe on at least a preseason squad and see how it goes from there.
I got to say, which I saw that tweet too, NFL Rookie Watch has hyped up Omar and Rajay. And look, I love Rajay and Omar, but I'm like, you could read any of these NFL Rookie Watch tweets and think like the guy should be a first rounder based off the hype. Like, I'm not just talking about ECU guys, like these random guys. Like, this guy's hyping up Joe Johnson out of South Carolina and Purdue. It's just kind of funny to read that stuff. But
yeah, no, that's not the sole reason I'm going with
I just
him.
thought
but
it was funny. Yeah, he's a good
he's
player.
getting
though, man.
some buzz
Yeah.
from
and like his numbers are good. Great athlete, 36.5-inch vertical. What about you, Philip? You've been reading Rookie Watch's tweets.
Yeah, I've seen them, but I'm not putting too much stock into them. I'm gonna go between Omar and Winston.
Yeah.
The reason being, if you look at camps. Not saying they don't have depth at all positions, but they love depth in the defensive back room. The reason being is because you want to find guys, especially safeties. They call in a lot of guys. They want to figure out who can open field tackle on special teams because a lot of your kickoff and your punt team are safeties. And then they are deep at receiver because usually they know they're 4. They have a good idea who's going to be fighting for 5, 6, but there's always 2 to 3 practice squad wide receivers because it's such a vulnerable position to get injured, as well as the fact that he is a returner, and teams will call in 3 to 4 returners minimum. And even if they don't get shots in preseason games, they run them in the inter-squad practices and stuff to see what those guys got. So I just think based off the depth of where teams historically do a lot of inviting, those two will have the best likelihood of getting the call.
If you had to put money on it, would you say anybody besides Revel gets drafted?
Hell no.
Brady?
No, unfortunately not.
I'm with you. I think Winston Wright has a shot, but I would say probably.
No, to be fair, like nobody's really. I mean, he's primarily a return man, I would say, and that's where he's best at. No discredit to him, but it's just kind of how it goes. Unfortunately, nobody's trying to sit there and draft a return man.
And Jaquan McMillan has proven you don't need to get drafted. Even though I stood on the table for Jaquan and said he is one of the best players I've ever seen at ECU, size or not, he could absolutely cover folks up. So I'm not surprised at all he's made it in the league. And I still felt the same about Julius Wood as well. I was shocked he didn't get drafted, but not shocked he's stuck on a 53-man last year because he's just a football player. All right, guys. There's your ECU talk. If you got any questions, drop it in the chat. We'll continue to address any ECU-related stuff. We'll talk some baseball in a little bit, too, as we've got some news there. All right, top storylines. Field Yates, who I think is one of the best insiders, released his mock earlier today on ESPN. He's got Cam Ward going number 1, Travis Hunter 2, Abdul Carter 3. A bit of a surprise. He's got Ashton Jeanty going 5th to the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's been a lot of talk about the Michigan D-tackle Mason Graham to the Jags, and Jeanty falling to 6th with the Raiders, or 10th to the Bears, but they have Jeanty going to the Jags. How do y'all feel about Jeanty to the Jags? I hate it for Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah, they already got some running backs.
I mean, they already have what's the guy? Etienne, right?
Tank Bigsby too.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. So
Yeah. So here's an interesting thought. 1995 was the last time a running back went in the top 5 in the draft.
is that legit?
Ezekiel Elliott.
No, I don't
No,
think
he went
did.
top. He went, I think, in the top 10.
Oh, wow.
I don't think Leonard Fournette went top 10 either.
Ezekiel Elliott. And you did say top 5, right?
I said top 5, yeah.
So Ezekiel Elliott, he went fourth overall.
Oh, he did? Then AI, when you Google crap, is lying.
And what did Saquon go?
So did and so did Saquon. What the hell? I thought this AI thing was supposed to be legit. I put last running back to be drafted in the top 5 in the NFL draft, and it said Kajana Carter was.
This is why you don't trust AI, folks. Case
That
in
is
point.
odd.
All right, well, to hell with my point because I was way off, or this Google thing was off.
This is hey,
Anyways,
AI's come a long way.
But
you can't trust.
I am curious. What is the last time somebody went in the top 5? Was it? It had to be
Running
Barkley,
back?
right? Yeah.
I think it was Saquon. That was 2018 top 5. I mean, I can't think of anybody
Zeke
that
was
jumps to mind.
16,
What was
I think.
the guy who went to the Falcons? Bijan.
Yeah. He wasn't that high though.
Bijan Robinson went to the Atlanta Falcons. He was 8th overall in 2023. So, and I would say, for the most part, Bijan's been a hit. It's just the Falcons are the Falcons.
They hate fantasy players. They don't give the ball to Kyle Pitts. They don't give the ball to Bijan.
They love them a good slot wide receiver, though.
They do.
Graham on Twitter says, "Nah, that makes no sense." Graham, what are we talking about here? We've got an ECU portal-related question I'll get to in a minute from Thick Poppy. Thanks for weighing in, Thick. Yeah, I mean, maybe he's talking about the Jags taking Jeanty.
Probably.
So there's been buzz, too, that my Broncos could move up and take Jeanty in, like, basically trade with, I've heard, with the Jags for the 5th spot to jump ahead of the Raiders and get them. I'm just, but going from 20 to 5, that is a lot of assets to give up. And I get Denver has a running back need, but unless you're convinced Ashton Jeanty is going to be a Saquon or an Adrian Peterson, then I'm not for it. Now, I will trust Sean Payton after last year hating the Bo Nix pick, and he proved me wrong. Sean Payton is a bit of a, he's kind of a jerk, but he's a great evaluator of talent. He's a great football coach. So, like, if he makes a move, I'll trust him, but I'm hopeful that's buzz because that's a lot of, or smoke and not real buzz because that's a lot of assets to give up, Philip.
It is. And so let's just go back to the last time he took a notable running back. It was Alvin Kamara, who he took in the 3rd round in 2017. And if you look at it that year, they had the 11th pick in that draft. And look, there were a lot of running backs that went in the 1st round that year. And a lot of people thought they should trade up. You had guys, Leonard Fournette went, Christian McCaffrey went, and then later at the end of the 1st round, Dalvin Cook went. He passed up on the running backs. He waited till the 3rd round. He drafted Kamara, and look how that turned out. Yeah, you trust him, but look, we were talking about during the last break, if you move up 3 or 4 spots, and then you have to give up, 10 spots maybe later in the draft, and that's all it is a couple pick swaps, sure, go do it, because this team is pretty put together right now. But to just jump up 15 spots, you're going to have to give up so much. Like, it's for a darn running back. Like, get an O-line that can block for a running back, and you can find somebody. I mean, not Javonte Williams, but somebody can run between the damn tackles.
This is the deepest running back class there's been in years.
Yeah, exactly.
So there has also been, Marion Hampton has been mocked to Denver at 20. Some buzz about Travion Henderson. I don't know. How do you feel about running backs, Brady, in this draft? And could Dallas, could they go running back in round 1?
Yeah, like you said, this is the deepest running back class in years, and I think, just at the start of the season, Genty was pretty well projected to Dallas, but like I said earlier, I don't see him on the board that long, and I think they do go running back on either second or third round. I do predict them to draft a running back, and kind of hoping it's Ollie Gordon a little later because he is, he's not getting enough respect for. Oklahoma State was terrible last season. He had a terrible season. Pans out. We had one of the worst O-lines. But the season before that, he was a Heisman candidate. And I don't know. I read something about a month ago that said his stock is about the lowest of low. So I guess we'll see about that. But, yeah, the running backs are great, but drafting one early is sometimes a mistake.
It is a big gamble. There's no doubt about that. As Trent Richardson proved with the Browns years ago. It's so fascinating to me how much of an inexact science the draft is. You pay all these people, NFL scouts, GMs, personnel, to make these picks. All these mock draft people getting paid, all these analysts, and the miss rate is still extremely high. Just like recruiting, it's an inexact science. This Phil Yates mock has cornerback Travis Hunter / wide receiver going 2, Will Johnson going 13 to the Dolphins, Jahdae Barron 19 to the Bucks, Maxwell Hairston 30th to the Bills. So they have 4 first-round corners going.
Revel would be one of the next 2.
Yep.
That's my guess.
So I think if you get 3 corners taken by pick 19, there's a very good chance Shavon will go first round. All right, let's get another break in. We'll come back. We'll talk about what we think our teams will end up doing. Obviously, that'll have interest with Panther fans locally. I'm sure there's plenty of Cowboy fans, and then I'll make my pick for the Broncos as well. And then we'll discuss some ECU baseball news. Change in the projected starter rotation this weekend. Ethan Norby, not listed as a starter. We'll talk about that on the other side as well before the show ends. This is Hoist the Colors.
Hey, it's Jim Wells again with Wells Roofing and Gutters here in the beautiful community of Lindale, Bedford. At Wells Roofing and Gutters, we believe in quality first, and that's why we use CertainTeed shingles, which are manufactured in Oxford, North Carolina, a local company. In the event you ever do have a claim or a problem with your roof system, they're local and they come and take care of us in a timely manner. We could leave off some accessories and we could certainly save money, but we believe at Wells Roofing and Gutters in installing the correct way per manufacturer requirements, and we warranty your roof both in-house and also with our supplier, who is CertainTeed. For a job Wells done, no shortcuts taken, and a good quality job on your home, give us a call today, 252-227-8403. We also offer financing, 12 months, no interest, no payments.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Back to Hoist the Colors with Steve and Igo.
Drink up, me hearties, yo ho.
On 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back into Hoist the Colors. NFL Draft starts tonight. Again, all eyes on Shavon Revel from a local perspective. East Carolina fans hoping he goes in round 1. All right, we do have a question from Thick Poppy. He says, I was too late yesterday. I'm just now tuning in. I have a question. Do you think East Carolina is going to get another defensive alignment from the portal? I think he means defensive lineman. I don't know for sure, Thick Poppy. I know that they like where the defensive line room has gone this spring. Preston Carr and Zion Wilson have impressed as older players, former walk-ons, now on some level of NIL money, essentially on scholarship in many ways. You already brought in Ryan Roseborough from Towson, a local guy. You brought in Justin Benton from Houston. You brought in Xavier McIver, who was here previously for 4 years. So that's 5 interior defensive linemen. Plus Javon Williams redshirted. He's now in the rotation. You've got a couple other guys as well. And then defensive end, you get J.D. Lampley back from injury. Kieran Davis, redshirt sophomore, and also Josiah Robinson's had a good spring at defensive end. So, I think the numbers are okay. If you could get a difference maker, older guy, I think you add him. But what are the needs? Right now, corner, defensive back, in general, safety, nickel is a need. After some recent losses there, O-line, interior O-line's a need. So, defensive line, if you could get a guy, you definitely add one. But I don't know if it's at the top of the list right now, even though I understand the concern given the losses there. So, hopefully that answers your question. We also had a comment. Graham was talking about running backs in top 5 with his comment and said AI can't relate to Hart, which is why you can't trust it. So there is that. All right, Brady Thomas in studio, Philip Pilkinen hanging out, producing. It is NFL Draft Day. We are all excited about our favorite teams. So we'll start there. The Panthers, Philip, is there, instead of all right, here's what I think the Panthers will do. Is there a guy you want to see them pick just for entertainment or just my guy? If you could get them at 8, who would you want the Panthers to take?
It was funny. So, I've been texting back and forth with Kason a lot of the morning. We've been talking about the fact that this draft is deep from the fact that, guys you might be getting in the 4th round are typically 2nd round guys, but it's not that really top heavy. Outside Abdul Carter and I guess Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty,
there's a steep drop off.
Yeah, there really any dogs in this draft? I don't know. So I know I'm copping out of the question. I'm not trying to just be boring because I know we're trying to make content for the show, but it just, I said I think they're taking Jalen Walker when I did our mock with Bobby the other day. That's kind of what I'm hoping. I think an edge, especially a guy that if you need to move him inside in case, Derek Brown would get injured again, that would be good. But I just don't think at 8, man, there's like this like pick that I'm like, getting all hype about.
Feels like a bad year to be picking 8th.
Yeah, it does. Seems like a great year to have made the playoffs, like I said earlier, Make the damn playoffs.
Every year is a great year to make the playoffs.
It is.
Spoken like a Denver fan who hadn't made the playoffs since the Super Bowl win. So Jalen Walker is who I would say the majority of people are mocking to Carolina. I had Tyler Warren going in our mock, and you said you'd be excited about it. Phil Yates has him going 7th to the Jets.
I'd take a tight end. We haven't had a tight end since Greg Olsen.
Yeah, I think Tyler Warren would make the Panthers fun, and the Panthers need fun.
The problem is you took a tight end decently high last year.
Yeah.
That's
But it
the
wasn't
problem, man.
Tyler Warren.
They take dumb tight ends and receivers every year and then turn around and draft the same position in the first round the next year because they screwed up the year before. Like, how the hell hard is it to quit screwing up on tight ends and receivers?
Yeah, and that's a weird position where, like, if you usually you know pretty soon if you miss that receiver and at tight end by year 2, and it's like the elite guys are just dominant, and then the okay guys just seem like wasted picks. So it is interesting. All right, Brady, the Cowboys at 12th in this mock that I'm looking at. Actually, this is Peter Schrager's mock. He's got Tyler Booker, a guard from Alabama, going to the Cowboys. Phil Yates has Teteroa McMillan, a wide receiver from Arizona, who I've heard a lot of. I've never watched him play, but I've heard a lot of exciting things about his game-breaking ability. What are you hoping for if you could make a pick?
Yeah, definitely a wide receiver. If Tet McMillan is already gone, I think you got to kind of revert and maybe draft O-line. But if Tet is there, I think 100%. But just a wide receiver. I've been saying this for the past 2 months. We need some type of skill position in the first round, whether that's corner, running back, receiver, just somebody that can actually come here and make a difference on day one, other than Tyler Booker, who's a guard. I mean, he'll probably make a difference, but I think we need a skill player, and I think wide receiver is the way to go. CD needs a little help.
With Rico Dowdle gone to Carolina, if Jinty's there, do you 100% want him? And do you think, building off that question, what are your thoughts on Omari and Hampton? Would you trade back to get him? Do you like him okay at 12?
I think if Jinty is at 12, 100% get him. And then I don't think there's a real reason to trade back for Hampton. I think you go receiver and then maybe draft running back later would be my thoughts.
So Denver picks at 20. Phil Yates has him taking Matthew Golden, wide receiver from Texas, who kind of has a similar skill set to some speedy receivers on their roster already. So I don't know. Denver's kind of a weird spot too. They've been mocked. Like, I'm not big on Marion Hampton at 20. I know he's a good running back, but I think I'd rather have Judkins or Travion Henderson, honestly. Travion Henderson kind of seems like more of a Sean Payton fit to me, but again, I'll trust whatever he picks.
That's your bias coming out. You just don't want a Carolina player.
I've already been burned. Look, I like Javonte Williams, but he was honestly kind of a bust. Now, part of that was his injury, which was brutal.
And now he's a Cowboy.
Yep. Now he's enjoy those 3-yard runs up the middle from Javonte Williams.
I've been enjoying those for the past 8 seasons with Ezekiel Elliott. So
I don't know. And there's been a lot of Colston Loveland buzz, Michigan tight end. Like, come on, man.
I think there's.
I'm not buying that.
Is he the second tight end or is he the third? Okay.
He was the third at one point, but he has now been. A lot of people are projecting the Colts to get him at 14. There's even been some talk of Denver trading up to get Loveland, but they already signed the Evan Ingram. I'm like, do not trade up to get a tight end not named Tyler Warren, please.
Especially, like you said, if you just sign. I mean, Evan Ingram's not what he used to be, but you just spent money on one. Why the hell would you trade up to get another one? Like, that is, in 2025, that is, you need 2, but you don't run a lot of, 12 personnel anymore. Like, one tight end is usually on the field at a time. Why would you need 2?
I'm with you. It'll be fascinating to see how it plays out. Now, last year, I want to say there was either 6 or 7 trades. I can't remember what the exact number was, but each of the past 2 years, guys, there's been 6 to 7 trades in the first round.
Nah, there was way more than that. Hang on. The little sheet in the draft group I'm in was sent to me.
Okay.
And that was on there. but I just got to find that. Okay, continue what you're saying. I'm gonna get it because it's really high. Like it's a lot higher than I thought it was.
Well, the podcast list either said 7 or maybe 8. I don't know. Either way, a lot of that was driven by quarterbacks. So my question is, do we see 5.5? If I set the number at 5.5, that even feels high for first round trades. I don't know. Like, what do y'all like? I've heard this could be a very just stand pat first round, just due to the fact that you've got the elite players at the top and then a giant drop off.
Yeah, and due to the fact that every team has a first-round pick as well.
Yeah.
So maybe some calls going around, but maybe trying to stay set.
So, so there were 9 trades last year on draft day, 11 the year before, 12 the year before that, then only 6 back in 2021. To Brady's point about all 32 teams having exactly 1 pick waking up on draft morning, first time ever that this has happened. In the modern draft era, which started in 1967. So kind of interesting. Obviously, somebody's going to pick twice. Somebody's not going to pick at all. But it's just weird that showing up. Normally there's a team that shows up on draft day and you're like, hey, I'm just here to watch it. Like, my team's not picking tonight. And we don't have that this year. It's kind of weird.
All right, final question before we take a break and get to some other ECU stuff. Quarterback, we know Cam Ward's going 1 overall to Tennessee. 2.5 over/under quarterbacks drafted in the first round. Brady.
Under. I just don't see where another quarterback fits in here other than
like this mock has the Browns trading back up in this first round at 29 to get Shedeur Sanders out of Colorado.
Well,
but even that would only be 2.
You already predicted, Brady, that the Saints were going to trade up into the first round to get Dart.
I did. It was my only bold prediction of my mock draft that I set up.
So you don't think Shedeur's going in the first round at all then? You're going under, and you think just Dart and Ward are going?
I don't. Yeah, I'll just stick with the pick. Yeah. So somebody's going to slip. A quarterback's going to slip, and Shedeur has already slipped halfway down the board. Why not to the second round?
All right, fair enough. I think like Pittsburgh or somebody takes them, probably.
And they never figure out a QB situation.
Yeah, and then somebody trades up into the first round to take Dart. So I'm going to go over on that. I
think we were talking either on there or off it last week that Peter Schrager nailed the quarterbacks last year. He's got Shedeur going to Pittsburgh at 21. And that would be the second quarterback in his mock, and that is it. He does not have Jackson Dart going in the – actually, he does. He's got Jackson Dart going at 26. He's got the Giants trading back up. So he's got 3. Now, in our crazy mock draft that I was just having fun with Friday, I had Shedeur going 3rd to the Giants and Jackson Dart going 9th to the Saints. In reality, I don't think that would happen, but I'm hoping it does because I love chaos.
It very well could.
And that's the best part of the draft is the unexpected. All right, guys, been a fun draft show and fun draft preview. We'll get a break in. We'll come back. We'll talk ECU baseball. Pirates hosting Tulane this weekend and a change in the projected starting rotation. We'll touch on that after this.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Your roof is a vital part of protecting your home and family from dangerous storms and hurricanes. At Assist Roofing, we install and maintain metal roofing that provides precise protection. Add value to your home while lowering utility costs with a fortified roof to last a lifetime. With 0% financing, grants, and Energy Star Green Roofing tax credit available. Call us to schedule a free consultation so you can weather any storm with confidence.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in color. and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
If you are interested in living longer and living stronger, Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine is accepting new patients for a limited time. Finding a caring physician can be a challenge. Dr. Billy Smith is board certified in physical medicine and lifestyle medicine and has been practicing in the area for many years. Call for an appointment now to Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine, 252-364-1108 in Greenville. That number again is 252-364-1108.
Looking for a great deal on a new Nissan?
At Greenville Nissan, we've got a great selection of new Nissans for under $30,000.
The stylish Nissan Sentra, offering top-notch fuel economy. The Nissan Altima, known for its comfort and technology.
The Nissan Kicks, the perfect combination with its compact design and performance. The Nissan Versa, delivering incredible value without compromising on features. And don't forget the Nissan Rogue, an award winner for 10 years in a row. Drive it home just for $22 down and $349 a month.
Visit GreenvilleNissan.com today.
Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252. Back to Hoist the Colors with Steve and Igo.
Drink up for me, Ozzy Joe Ho.
On 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors. On a Thursday, final segment here, Brady Thomas and Philip Pilkington hanging out. We've talked a lot of NFL draft. I was just curious because we were talking about the draft being located in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Green Bay has Greenville, North Carolina beat on population by 15,000 people. So that's pretty comparable. Could y'all imagine having an NFL team in Greenville, North Carolina?
We probably even have more people because I think the students who are not technically residents don't count towards the population because you still are claimed to live wherever your parents are.
So what you're saying is the East Carolina Panthers could happen if they want to move east. Let's do it.
The Greenville Panthers.
I mean, I've heard worse. All right, guys, ECU baseball is back in action this weekend. We got the spring game as well on Saturday. We'll see how the weather plays out. It looks kind of sketchy the next few days, but should be a fun weekend if it holds off. And change to the rotation, at least listed probable starters, Ethan Norby is not among them. Now, we were talking on the Bucks on the Pond podcast, and we were like, ECU doesn't really have an option. If Norby's healthy, you just keep rolling it forward. But Scott Lorbatcher pointed out that if you're going to make the change, this would be the week because you have the extra day's rest as a result of the Easter weekend series. Or in terms of Brad Pruitt, he started on Friday because it was a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, so you could start him on normal rest if you wanted to make a change. Well, Brad Pruitt is starting on Friday, and so ECU is making that change. He will be opposed by Luke Flada. Don't know if that's the actual pronunciation, but that's how I'm saying in my head. On Friday, and then Saturday is TBA, for ECU versus right-handed pitcher Trey Siahick, and then Sunday is TBA versus TBA. So Ethan Norby not listed doesn't mean he won't start a game, but as of now, he is not listed as a starter. So interesting development, Philip.
It is, and you wonder, is this going to become a thing where, he was supposed to be a high-leverage guy at the beginning of the season, had everyone stayed healthy. Do his starts start looking how Ethan Young looked last Thursday night? His appearances. He gets brought in a high-leverage situation, gets us out of it, and says, oh, by the way, we need you to throw 5 more innings. Maybe that works. Maybe he is more effective out of the pen. We've talked about on this show that maybe we think, now usually Sean comes in for the beginning of an inning, but it seems like if you look at Sean Jenkins' numbers, he's better when he comes out of the pen. So maybe this will be, an opener-type situation on Saturday, and then Ethan comes in for the third, and hopefully he shoves.
What do you make of this news, Brady, if anything?
I don't know. This season has just become very unpredictable, to say the least. Obviously, get a day off Tuesday, and I don't know.
Everybody's
everybody's ready.
For no reason.
Yeah, Yeah. We won't talk about that on the show.
Did you guys get any hail there? Because Wags sent me a video from his house, man, and it was bad.
No, the only rain I drove through was probably like 30 minutes away from Greenville, and I just couldn't see anything, and the ECU baseball bus was still just weaving through traffic, running like 65 miles an hour, and I could not see a single thing.
They have elite windshield wipers, apparently.
Yeah, but no, I don't know. This season has just become very unpredictable. I do believe Norby throws this weekend, but I guess I just go with Phillips. I guess we're not sure where at.
Yeah, and again, there's no injury report in college sports mandated, and we don't have an opportunity to talk to Cliff Godwin until after Friday's game, so we'll ask then. But as of now, we can only speculate, and so we'll try and gain more information. And, yeah, I mean, do you, like Philip said, Ethan Young, Ethan Norby, Sean Jenkins, at this point, just kind of roll with an opener and then put them in after. And then Cliff Godwin has said in the past, Ethan Norby can think too much at times, and maybe this alleviates that. I don't know. I mean, we're just spitballing here because we don't know at this time. But it should be an interesting series inside Clark LeClaire Stadium. Again, Friday scheduled for 6 o'clock. Saturday will be 4 o'clock after the spring game, weather permitting. And then the finale on Sunday. All right, we're out of time. Brady Thomas, appreciate you, man.
Of course.
Good luck to your Cowboys. Hope they don't screw it up tonight. And Philip Pilkington, we've got rubber game. Mariners, Red Sox in about 30 minutes. Who does it? Who wins?
We got Crochet on the mound. I feel good.
I feel good about the Red Sox as well. And if they lose, I'm definitely going to give you a lot of crap. And if the Mariners lose, I will not say anything about it. So that's how it's going to go. Good luck to the Red Sox the rest of the year outside of today and the other 3 games. They come to Seattle. We will be back 12 noon on Friday with Bobby Harvard. We'll see you then.
This has been Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo. Tune in weekdays at noon for all things ECU sports. Get a recap of the show at 943thegame.com, on Twitter.